And here's the deal. It's the vampire code. I'm not saying they're literal vampires. They're psychic vampires. A vampire must trick you to invite them into your house. So they'll show up, not bearing their fangs at night, and knock and say, I'm a neighbor. Mind if I come in? And you've got to say, you are welcome. Or the vampire in mythology all over the world, this archetypal, and they use allegories for these archetypal things to explain it to people. But whether it was Greece or Japan or the Mesoamerican Mayan culture, the vampires always came and said, do you invite me into your home? Am I invited? And it's a trick, but they've got to do it. It's like their religion, and you've got to say, yes, you are invited. Once you've let them in, and it's a spiritual thing. It's like Lindsey said, we've let the spirit of China in. We've underwritten it. We've confirmed it. We will now go under it. We will now live as they do. Once you submit to something, once you join with it, it's kind of like Saruman in Lord of the Rings is saying, we must join Gandalf with Mordor. It is, the new age is upon us. And he says, since when did Saruman the Wise, give up reason for madness? And that's what this is. They are all over the news. We must join with authoritarianism. It's good. We must join with the torture. And so a lot of these people, too, even though they've been high-powered, they still are dual. They don't like what's happening, but they like the power, plus they're in it to survive and win. I'm sorry I'm going wild here, but, explaining their psychology. And so they enjoy it. It's an entertainment for them, like a cat has a mouse playing with it before it eats it. But they also believe almost in like a demonic chivalry. And what do they do in chivalry? They say, on guard. On guard, on guard, on guard, I'm about to attack you. On guard. And so they're saying, on guard, we're going to set up world government and kill you. On guard, here's all the Rockefeller foundations. We're putting poisons in your vaccines. On guard. And then they say, look at these idiots. We tell them we're killing them, and they still won't stand up and fight. They want to die. They are profane. And then elitists call me and say, off record, can we talk? And I'm a journalist, a person. I don't, betray confidence unless it was of a specific crime. Then I would have to. And they say, Alex, the general public wants to be slaves. Don't you understand? You have to join with the New World Order because we understand that. We're moral. We actually work together. The profane, they don't. This is all Illuminati type stuff, folks.
Alex, you're exactly right. I lived with these people for 3 years, and it took me 3 years' time to even comprehend the mindset of these people. And I wrote 3 books trying my best to help the American people understand the mindset of the elitists. Very difficult for the average person to understand that there could be somebody so diabolically wicked that they would control nations and currencies and tell OPEC what to do and tell the president what bills to put through in Congress. But they do. People, please believe what you're hearing Alex say right now. I lived with these people, stayed in the dorms with them, sat across the dinner table from them, and everything you just heard Alex Jones say is true.
Well, Lindsey, we better get to a few more calls. I wish it wasn't true. But it is. Reality is reality. Thank you, Nancy. Hope that answers your question. Angela in Louisiana, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, I'm calling with a couple of questions. My first one is for the currency. When the currency is going to crash before the new world currency comes in, will our currency, anyways devalued, we will be able to purchase this new currency with our dollar?
They're going to continue to slowly devalue it over and over again until they offer a new currency as a way to get out of the old currency that's been wrecked. And they're starting to say they're going to blame it on a false flag internet attack as if it all happened overnight and tyranny will protect us from this ever happening again. And we'll still have dollars. They'll just be denominated and controlled by the IMF, World Bank, OECD as the new Bancor, which is a digital currency transcending the nation. Now will be fully beholden to the offshore central banks. Lindsey Williams.
The only way that you can maintain the purchasing power over your present currency is to buy gold and silver today, immediately. You should have bought it 2 years ago. But if you didn't, you got to go down and get it. Right this minute, listen to who advertises on Alex programs and buy from them. Why? Because I have been told, and I'm telling it to you, you can take that gold and silver. It'll have the same purchasing power, the same value, Even though gold and silver is going to go up $3,000-$4,000 an ounce, silver is going to go up to $40, $50, $60 an ounce. But yet you can turn around and trade that for the new currency, whatever it may be, world or whatever it may be, and maintain your same purchasing power. And that is the only thing you can do it with. Your dollar is going to devalue so rapidly from this point on. You are going to be startled.
Well, Lindsey, that's what's so frustrating about this is that I get emails every day going, why do you want me to go to Midas Resources and buy gold and silver if my Federal Reserve notes are so worthless? And then they giggle like they've made some big point. It's like a 2-year-old, you know, being able to see the letter A and being proud of it. But it's not cute because they're even wrong. It's like a 2-year-old looking at the letter A and saying it's the letter C or the letter Z. They don't understand. Obviously, the currency as it's devalued that's then manifested by the gold and silver going up in the overall price, not because it's gone up, but because the currency has now gone down. And so by
this past week, 6 cents out of every dollar at the gas pump. You lost $3 last week on toilet tissue at the grocery store. I know I went to buy it. It had gone up $3.
Now, the inflation's accelerating.
The only thing that changed was the purchasing power of the currency. You lost 3 cents at the gas pump. You lost $3 in the grocery store.
No, I know, but Lindsey, it's like they're under a trance. Just finishing this simple point, you just made it beautifully, but to quantify it, because I see this so much, and I'll see it on YouTube, and people try to explain it to them, and they just don't get it. We take the Federal Reserve notes, Midas Resources does, buys gold at whatever price it is, and then with any little meager profits, run the network, or with profits, buy gold for ourselves and silver. I mean, that's what I do. You know, as my emergency backup. I only promote what I believe in. But these people think, why do you want my Federal Reserve notes if they're not worth anything? That's still the global currency. So you take that and you buy gold and silver for yourself. And then as the currency's devalued, your gold and silver will reflect whatever the new currency's value is. And so it freezes the value of the labor you put in to get the energy credit symbols that are those Federal Reserve notes. Now you're putting it into a real commodity that transcends the fractional reserve banking system, so that now you are freezing your wealth against inflation. It may actually go up, may go down a little, but overall, it's freezing it. And I don't understand how people can't understand this, Lindsey. I mean, it's almost like they're under a spell. I have family. I have family. I have family that, and I want you to comment on this, who I told 10 years ago, buy gold and silver. They laughed at me. You know, when silver was $5, gold was $260. I have family that when it was $500, they laughed at me. When it was $800, they laughed. When it was $1,000, when it's $1,400, they cannot buy it. They must do what the stockbroker says. They must lose money. It's like being an idiot. They see it as a cloak of power. Being conned is the smart thing to do. Can you? I mean, is that just given over to delusion?
No, they are obsessed with the stockbroker and with Wall Street. And what the national media says to them. Listen to me. Abraham trusted in gold and silver. Moses trusted in gold and silver. If you're a Christian, go to your Bible and see what the streets of heaven are paved with. For goodness sakes, look where God's value is. It's definitely not in Federal Reserve notes and pieces of paper. And I'll say it over and over and over every time Alex lets me on his show. I'll probably say it. If it's written on a piece of paper, it's worth the paper it's written on.
All right. Anything else, Angela? We got to go here in just a minute, and I appreciate you calling. Anything else?
I just wanted to know if Lindsey had any new information. I live on the Gulf Coast in South Louisiana. If he heard anything more about the Gulf.
Okay.
If you don't, if it's still spilling.
Okay. There's all sorts of leaks still down there. They fractured the ocean flour. Correct, Lindsey? They're just covering it up.
Yeah, they did fracture the ocean floor, and the core exit is the most dangerous part. And in a lifetime, we'll never get away from the danger that's been done by it. And yes, there's still a lot of information coming out. It's just that they have shut up on the media talking about it whatsoever. But yeah, it's still there.
All right, got to move quick here. Real fast. Lee in Kentucky, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Brother, how you doing?
Good.
I got a quick statement and a quick question. My statement is, as a veteran myself, I just want to say that I feel very betrayed by my country. First-time caller. Been listening to your program for about 2 years.
Lee, it's not your country. It's been taken over by foreign banks, and the Chinese are their muscle men that they've brought in to be our owners.
Well, you're exactly right, and I want to salute you for serving on the front line and fighting this battle for us for so long, and my prayers will be with you and your family. My question is for Pastor Williams, does he have any, matter of fact, for both of you, do you have any time frame as far as when you think this new currency will be issued? Will it be through a banking holiday? And one other question for the pastor is, with a one-world government and a one-world currency, we also will have a one-world religion or church. And does he have any news or information as far as that goes?
I've been given a date. I was given it back 2 years ago, and I gave it again every time I've been on Alex Jones' show. The dollar will be dead by the end of 2012 if the elite have their way. Please, I beg you to put that down beside your calendar. The dollar will be dead by the end of 2012. As far as the world religion is concerned, I covered that in about a 20-minute segment on my DVD set, and when I talked about the devil's Messiah, oh my goodness, Alex, you were fascinated by this one day on your program back about a year and a half ago when we talked about that they had used an expression to me one day, the devil's Messiah. Now, this goes all the way to Europe. The European Union, so many preachers have been tricked into believing that that's the 10-toe kingdom of the Antichrist. And as a result, it went up to 11, 12, 13, and 14 countries that joined it, and then the preachers were totally embarrassed. This is what the elitists love to do over a period of time. Watch the European Union. The euro will eventually crash, and from the time that the euro crashes, you've got 3 weeks. Please hear this. You've got a timetable here. I'm giving you a buzzword or a warning. Within 3 weeks of the time you see the euro crash, you've got to get out of paper. If you don't, more than likely you'll lose it.
All right, let me comment on what Lee said. Then we're going to go to Felix, come back and do a few more minutes, then I will play the ultimate red pill to end the hour because I promised to play it, and we've been getting requests for it. And again, Pastor Lindsey Williams is our guest. We are live. It is January 19th, Wednesday, January 19th, 2011. To answer that question, folks, they're not going to get rid of the dollar. You're not going to go to the bank one day and get, silver money or something or blue money, though they are changing the colors to get you, and they admit, to get you ready for changes down the road. The dollar will no longer be the global currency, just like the peso never was, never will be in Mexico. Just like the ruble never was, never, is probably going to be. The dollar has been the only global currency in history. Before that, it was silver and gold. Didn't matter if you were in Japan or in Russia or in England or the U.S., 235 years ago, everybody knew what a silver or a gold coin was worth globally. Okay, and everything was denominated in that. And if you were buying little cheap goods, it'd be denominated in copper or other metals. A penny, you could go in 230 years ago with 2 pennies and get a decent bowl of soup with your beer or whatever. At the local pub in England. So all of that's going on. You're going to have a global cashless system where the post office is already denominated in international freight. Because we ship worldwide here, it says SDRs, okay? And that is the new global currency. It's already in operation, and the basket of the SDR is IMF, World Bank, receivership collateral, and now they're saying the Chinese currency, and they're saying we're going to completely abandon the dollar. So they're not just saying it's going to be a basket. That's been the transition. The dollar's gone. So then it devalues like a peso. Then we go to a new dollar that's SDR backed, but instead of being controlled by the Federal Reserve, it's only a regional arm of the banking cartel. It's directly controlled by the OECD at Brussels, okay? Directly by Europe, who controls and finances China, who controls and finances Russia. The whole system. And they've always hated America because we got liberty here. They want to destroy us and hang up patriots by our necks and take our guns.